Hello, welcome on in. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, number one tennis betting podcast and YouTube show brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. It's Saturday morning, strange day for us, strange times of the tennis season. I would say join me on this Saturday morning, a beautiful Saturday morning, is our senior ATP Tour handicapper. It's Sean Calvert. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning. It is beautiful, isn't it? It's sunny.
Very nice morning.
I've had to close the blinds so I don't get blinded while I'm doing this video. Yeah, it's all right.
I've had to move the chair, different angle. You see my delightful wardrobe here, which I don't like to show on air, but I had to move to stop the sun coming in my eyes.
I can't see that, but hang on a minute, mate. Excuse me. I've still got a bit of this dodgy chest. The old voice in the morning is a little bit questionable. I can't see that because I've got a tiny little icon, so all I can see is you. Really, I can't really see what else is in the room.
Well, that's not good for you either, but it's a
very small version of you, so don't worry. It's fine.
That's no problem. We come on this show on a Saturday, and we come on the back of what was a fantastic performance by you, Sean, on our tipping show on our last show. I think we gave 5 bets, 4 winners, or 4 bets, 3 winners, but all really, really nice price bets. Yeah, 4 out of 5. All really, really nice price winners as well. Well done.
Yeah, it's the tactic, wasn't it? We sort of said that, you have to. I think I said you have to kind of sort of put the stats to one side a little bit sometimes in the Asian swing and just think about the situation, the physical situation of the players or the mental situation, which is obviously a little bit of guesswork, but the odds are there, aren't they, in your favour? Because obviously the layers are pricing these up as, by and large, unless it's an obvious fatigue issue, they're pricing them up as how they would be generally against each other. But things like the Taylor Fritz, for example, he was always likely to be struggling a bit physically and possibly mentally, just fatigue after the US Open run and Laver Cup. And as it turned out, he did have a physical problem, didn't he? He had a hip issue, and just a little bit jaded. Some of these guys are just jaded. A lot of this Asian swing is just about sort of second guessing the fitness or motivation levels rather than most of the year when I tend to use mainly stats. It's just a little bit of intuition. It worked out nicely on that particular occasion, yeah.
Yeah, it was a great day. And not only that, I think we cashed on Thompson, beating Casper Ruud. We tossed on the first set to Belka against Shelton. So it was a real good day. Lots of winners. Hopefully you cash some tickets. If you did cash any tickets, make sure you share your bet slips with us at Because We Win. Tag us into the handle at Because We Win. We want to see your bets. If you want to fade anything, fade what we want to do. So if you have winners by fading us, tag those as well into the handle at Because We Win. Remember, there is a newsletter coming your way as well, starting next month. There'll be a newsletter coming, which you can subscribe on Betting Weekly Studios, which is our brand new website. Make sure you subscribe to that and just register your interest in the newsletter. It's going to come probably by a video form, which will be coming in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you register that extra content here on the Betting Weekly Studios. Okay, let's move on to the action, the tennis action. There is 2 tournaments on the ATP Tour. They're both 500 events. There's one in Tokyo and there's one in Beijing. The Tokyo action starts this evening, Saturday evening at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So when this podcast drops, you have a very short window to be able to head across to the Bet Rivers app or the website and place your bets on Sean's selections or anything you might fancy. The first match we're going to start with is 2 big servers, Humbert and Jack Draper. Before we go into that match, the conditions, we spoke about the conditions on our preview. Anything changed on what you've seen over the last couple of days?
Yeah, I think the roof is going to be more. It's going to come more into play over the next few days. It's been used quite a lot anyway. I think the rain is coming, certainly going to continue to come and come more in Tokyo than it has been even recently. I'm just looking at Sunday's weather. The afternoon and evening looks okay, but up until roughly 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it's raining and temperature about 23°C. But I don't know the schedule yet, but if the morning matches, the early matches, you would suggest they're going to be played under the roof. Now, Ben Shelton was saying that the ball is bouncing a lot lower under the roof. So something to bear in mind. It's just a bit of a hint on the conditions there. But yeah, I would suggest, looking at the weather forecast, that most of these matches are going to be played under the roof, depending on the timing of them.
Yep. First match, Humbert against Jack Draper. As I said, we're going to discuss. There are more matches, but we're only looking at 4 matches today on this show. And this is a very evenly matched match. If you look at the rankings, Humbert is ranked 18 in the world. Jack Draper is 20. Their statistics on hard court this season are pretty similar. Looking at the form coming in, both of them playing well. Draper has won his 2 matches in straight sets against Bellucci and Hurkacz. And Humbert has won his straight sets as well. Probably not as difficult, not as hard as what Draper has faced, but he's beaten Nakashima fairly comfortably. He was exhausted, Nakashima, admittedly, in the round of 16. But the betting here is pretty much quite a heavy favourite for Jack Draper. He's minus 186 against Humbert at plus 148. The spread's 1.5. Total exceptionally high at 25.5. Obviously, with these two, they can belt down those big serves, and that is what Bet Rivers are expecting. If you head across to the Bet Rivers app, there is a whole host of markets on this match. I think they have 35 different markets available as we speak. Nothing in the rankings, nothing on the form this year, but yet Jack Draper is a very, very heavy favourite.
Yeah, minus 186, Jack Draper. This is recency bias written all over it, hasn't it? It's yet Jack Draper played great at the US Open. We'd better put him in at short prices. It's far too short. I just feel like Humbert might well have more gas in the tank than Jack Draper here. We know Draper's fitness isn't the best. His stamina isn't the best. He knows that. We all know that. I feel like he's got a letdown coming. He's played 15 matches, Draper, since the Olympics, and Humbert's only played 9. So that's 6 matches fewer for Humbert, which I think at this stage of the season is relevant. Draper also said after beating Hurkacz, I mean, I also said, didn't I, Hurkacz was a bit of a fade this week. He's not fully fit, Hurkacz. He's since withdrawn from Shanghai, where he's defending champion. So clearly he isn't right. It was annoying that Giron didn't beat him. He should have done, really. So that Draper beating Hurkacz in straight sets, I don't think it's that relevant because it certainly wasn't a fit Hurkacz. And he said after that match, Draper, he said, "I just want to stay injury free, even though I'm tired. So I'm just trying to keep my good energy and get the most out of myself that I can." So he's admitting that he's tired. He's also playing doubles, I think, even as we speak. He's in the doubles with Mahatch. So he's doing that as well. So fatigue, I think, is definitely a big element in this one. If you look at the stats, 2024 away from clay at main level, there's hardly anything in it in terms of service points won and return points won totals. Humbert, 105.2. Draper, 105.7. So it's just half a point in it for Draper. Both have question marks against them, incidentally, against fellow left-handers. Draper's only ever played one top 50 ranked left-hander, and that was Mannarino in the Sofia final last November, and he lost that match as favourite, Draper. Against top 100 ranked left-handers, Draper is 3-4 win-loss. And the highest ranked lefty he's ever beaten is world number 64, Diaz Acosta, at the US Open. We all know Diaz Acosta's obviously a clay specialist pretty much. So a very questionable record against left-handers, or certainly at best unproven. Humbert's not great either. He's 4-8 win-loss against fellow lefties, but he has beaten 2 top 50 ranked lefties. He's beaten Cam Norrie and he's beaten Mannarino. So both of them suspect against fellow lefties. Humbert's been playing great though. Once he gets in that groove, he's very difficult to beat. And I think the quick, low bouncing indoor conditions, which this pretty much is now in Tokyo, it suits Humbert's game perfectly. I think he's actually a big threat for the title. If he wins this match, I wouldn't be surprised if Humbert walked away with his title, or at least made the final, because he's got the conditions that he wants now with the roof. So I just think it's a bad price on Jack Draper. So if it's a bad price, then take it on. So Humbert to win it, plus 148.
Yeah, plus 148. I think after a long, hard season, if you're putting your money on Jack Draper at minus 186, you've got to be a very, very brave bettor, because that could backfire on you massively. Humbert at plus 148 is our bet. Is it official bet?
Yeah, I think it's good value, that, yeah.
It's an official bet. So Ugo Humbert starts proceedings today, looking to where we continued where we left off last show, with a nice plus money winner with the Frenchman at plus 148. Our next match in Tokyo is another one between two big servers, 2 players, the young players who've got a big future in the game. It's Ben Shelton against Artur Fils. Ben Shelton is a minus money favourite here. He's minus 186. Artur Fils is plus 150. Very similar prices to the Draper and Bear match. The spread here is a bit different though. Plus 2.5 is the market, with a heavy favourite for Fils. And the total games are 1 lower. They're 24.5. These two have met once before last year at the Laver Cup, where Shelton won 7-6 in a very tight first set, but then he ran away with the second set 6-1. Fair to say Fils is a lot better player now than he was then. Very good in round 1 against Taylor Fritz. Come back, took the first set, 1-1 in the second set, and then he showed a lot of character to beat Fritz fairly convincingly in the final set. And then he was helped massively by our pick Berrettini, who won the first set in a tiebreak against Fils, and then unfortunately the Italian had to retire, injured again, unfortunately for Berrettini. Shelton has beat Opelka and Navoni, but this again looks like a match where it's a quarterfinal match where it looks as though these lines could be a little bit closer than what the Bet Rivers odds compilers are suggesting here.
Yeah, I mean, Artur Fils has been bittersweet, hasn't he, for us so far this week? You know, plus 285 winner with him against Fritz, as you said, and then he progressed when Berrettini retired again from a setup in the second round. So very much bittersweet there with us for Artur Fils. And again, the abdominal issue with Berrettini, which seems to have plagued him his whole career, pretty much, or certainly in recent sort of 3 or 4 years. You would have thought that was something that he would be able to sort out with the right kind of training. It can't be that much of a weakness. You wouldn't have thought. It seems a bit strange that he continues to have those issues. But anyway, so Shelton, as you said, beat Fils as a minus 182 chance in the Laver Cup last year. But I don't think that's overly relevant. I mean, Shelton, as I've said many times, he's at his best when he's pumped up, and he said after that match, he said the crowd really got him going. It was the opening match of that particular tournament, and it was in Vancouver, North America. So he was very much up for that. He talked as well after that match about talking with a fellow lefty. Obviously, John McEnroe's the captain of that US team. So he was really up for that. So no real surprise that he won it. If you look at the stats of this season, main level, on outdoor hard, there's not much in it really, just 1 point. Shelton service points won and return points won, total of 103, Fils 102. So again, you're not really seeing these odds don't really look accurate in terms of the service points won and return points won totals. The interesting stat here is that both men win 75% of their first serve points. So when they're landing that first serve, they're winning 3/4 of the points. It's very much going to be a serve-dominated encounter, this. If you look at what Shelton's done in Tokyo, I don't think he's lost a match here yet. I think he's 7-0. 89% holds the serve, and again, 75% first serve points won, which mirrors his general average. So, given the conditions as well, I presume this is going to be indoors. Makes the serving a bit easier, makes it a little bit easier to go for the lines, go for your shots. So I would expect another serve-dominated encounter here. I would be tempted with set one tiebreak here over 12.5 games. In set one is a plus 180 chance of Bet Rivers. Perhaps that's where I would go in this one.
Yeah, tiebreak in Fils' last match. Tiebreak in the match between the first set and the match between the two of them in their previous encounter. And plus 185 a tiebreak does seem a big price. Remember, head across to the Bet Rivers website. 36 different markets available on this match. And if you do place a bet on the app or the website, you'll be able to bet live and watch live. All these matches are live streamed on the app, on the website, on Bet Rivers. We have another tournament this week over in Beijing, as you all know. And we have a couple of matches there we want to discuss before we discuss the matches. Conditions pretty much as we expect. Temperatures look pretty good. Any rain around there?
A little bit of rain around on Sunday. Yeah, it's supposed to be about 25 degrees and cloudy up until 4 p.m. and then it's supposed to rain. So I would suggest that any matches scheduled after sort of 3 or 4 p.m. local time will be played under the roof. So yes, a bit of rain around. And as far as the conditions are concerned, Medvedev, it's always Medvedev, isn't it? He always likes to have a little moan about the conditions, or it's very rarely does he ever say, oh, these are great conditions. There's always a problem. This time he said, I don't know who's capable of playing aggressively with these balls. They only get bigger and slower, which is something I said at the start of the tournament Alcaraz said last year. He said, apart from maybe Sinner and Alcaraz, I don't know who can play aggressively with these balls. So essentially he's moaning about the slow, fluffy head balls that they use here, and he's complaining that he can't play the way that he wants to play. We know conditions are slower in Beijing. We know they're quicker in Tokyo. So you've got to ask yourself, from a Medvedev point of view, why doesn't he just play in Tokyo? He's won the tournament there before as well. Maybe he's been offered more money to play in Beijing. I would suggest that's probably the reason. But if that is the reason, then don't moan about the conditions. Anyway, that's a side point. Yeah, so it's certainly slower than Tokyo. Yeah.
Yep, slow conditions should suit our favourite in the next match, Lorenzo Musetti. He's up against Boo, and these are round 16 matches. The Tokyo tournament is at the quarterfinal stage. In Beijing, it's at the round 16, and the round of 16 gets underway again this evening, Saturday evening, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So you don't have much time to get these wagers down or any of your wagers down, but you've got a short window again after this podcast drops. So these matches are this evening. Keep that in mind when you are placing your wagers. Lorenzo Musetti, the Italian, has been great form this season, up to a career high, I think, in the rankings. I think he's just outside the top 20 now, inside the top 20 at 19. He is minus 215 against Boo at plus 170. Spread 2.5, total 22.5. Both of these players have played a lot of tennis this year, though. Boo's been all around the Asian tour. He's played his 51st hard court match this season, which has been a long season for him. And Musetti has played really, really well. Obviously, broke through to the semi-finals at Wimbledon, did exceptionally well and won a couple of tournaments early in the part of the year. And he's done well on surfaces that you wouldn't expect him to do well on. So Musetti's had a great year. And but has it coming to an end now? Is it petering out? Is he vulnerable?
I think he is, yeah, at these prices. I mean, this Asian swing, which is obviously, it's not that many matches. It's only 5 matches. So it's a very small snapshot sample in time of what the players are doing. But if you look at what Boo's done, 5 matches, he's won 4 of them. And his service points won and return points won total is 108. And his service hold and break total is 111, which is very, very good statistics indeed. I know it's only a small sample of the season, a very small sample, but obviously he's more motivated than pretty much anybody else. And we've seen a lot of players from China and Japan winning matches, haven't we, this Asian swing? More than usual, because in years gone by, there weren't that many good Chinese players. There was only maybe 1 or possibly 2 that were sort of decent enough. But now there's, a handful that can cause problems for these top-ranked players on this swing. So the stats I've just said about Boo, Musetti in the same time frame has got 103 total, service points won and return points won total, and 109 hold and break total. Now, I took it, so on the basis of that, Boo's certainly decent value. Boo's won 60% of his second serve points as well, so he's not just winning these matches on a big first serve and sort of scraping through his second. He's winning a very good, very healthy amount of his second serve points. Very aggressive style, which I think will certainly rush Musetti at times. And the average rank of the opponents that these two have played in those 5 matches, the average rank that Boo's played is 63. And the average rank that Musetti's played is 103. So Boo's been playing a better quality of opponent this Asian swing, and he's got better stats from those matches. So I feel like this is an opportunity here for us to take Musetti on. He made the final in Chengdu last week. Maybe he's got one eye on the fact that there's a Masters 1000 next week, obviously in Shanghai. I just feel the motivation level here is going to be one way. I feel like Boo is going to be much more motivated. As I said, he's playing right now. He's playing a really, really good level. As you said, Musetti has played a lot of tennis, hasn't he? We saw him in Umag. I think he made the final. Did he make the final? They lost in the final, so tiebreak, I think. And then he went straight from there to the Olympics, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's played a lot of tennis. I feel like Boo at plus 170 here is a bet.
Won the final last week as well. In
Chengdu, yeah.
So he's going to be absolutely
and he's got Shanghai
exhausted
next week. So
yeah,
I can't see him pulling out of Shanghai unless he gets injured or something. So it wouldn't be surprised if this was maybe just a little bit of a sort of tired one. This is just guesswork. Obviously, we have to sort of guess how the players are going to be on the basis of what they've done and what they've shown. But it doesn't take a genius, I think, to figure out that Boo would be more highly motivated here. He's been playing great.
There's a lot of different markets available to get with Boo. The spread here, you're going to win the first set, game handicap, set handicap, all available on the Bet Rivers app. But which is the best way we're going to play it? Just on the money line?
I'm just going to take the money line, yeah. I think if you start messing about with the handicaps here, plus 2.5 is not a particularly big number, is it? So I'm just going to go for the money line, yeah, plus 170.
Yeah, plus 170 Boo. Is that an official play?
Yeah, I think it's good value.
Right, so that's our second official play on the show. We've gone for Boo to beat Musetti. Our final match, we do have some interest already because our tournament pick, Khachanov, 36-1, 38-1, is through to the last 16 where he places his Cerundolo. Now, Cerundolo must be thinking, what have I done to run into Khachanov again? I mean, the head-to-head record between these two is incredible. Khachanov leads 6-0, and this will be the 5th time they've met this season. Now, I've actually been to 2 tournaments this year, Sean, where I've watched these two in action. I watched them in Miami on one of the outside courts, and we actually bet Cerundolo that day. And I was cheering. Well, I did. I don't know if you picked it up.
I think I did. Lost in the final set tiebreak, didn't he?
Tiebreak. And I was cheering. I was with my son. And we were cheering Cerundolo. And the whole of the arena was cheering for Cerundolo. All South Americans in Miami.
Yeah.
And Khachanov managed to get the job done. Then I went to Monte Carlo, and I bet Cerundolo in that match as well. He took the first set. Yeah, he took the first set. Should have won the match. And then since then, they've met in Rome and Cincinnati, where it's pretty much been one-way traffic for Khachanov. Now, we want this to be one-way traffic for us, for our future pick. But there has been a little bit of money around this morning for Cerundolo with Bet Rivers. He's currently plus 123. Minus 152 is the price for Khachanov, and the total here is 23.5. If you looked at the form from earlier in the year, you would think the over was a bet at 23.5. If you look from the form in the last 2 head-to-heads between these two, Khachanov has got the job done very, very easily. What version of Cerundolo is going to turn up today?
The bad one, I hope. Hopefully. Anyway, I mean, this is one of the reasons I took Khachanov, because I knew he had a qualifier in the first round, and I knew it was pretty likely he was going to play Cerundolo in the next round. You couldn't really ask for a nicer draw than that as far as Khachanov is concerned. As I said at the start of the week, he should have been looking at that draw thinking, right, beat the qualifier, which was Kobayashi, as it turned out. Then I've got Cerundolo, who I've smashed pretty much every single time, or certainly won every single time. So he's that's the way you should be looking at this. I just wonder though if it could be 7th time lucky for Cerundolo. Obviously, I hope not. But this head-to-head is as overwhelming as it gets. In those 6 matches that they've played against each other, service points won and return points won totals, Khachanov 109 to 91, which is as overwhelming as it gets. As I say, the big difference being the first serve. Cerundolo's first serve, he's getting nothing out of it. He's only winning 62% of first serve points against Khachanov. Khachanov wins 74% on his own first serve. And Khachanov is winning 43% of return points. So he's got a handle on the Cerundolo serve. Cerundolo is getting nothing out of it. The second serve points won is about the same, actually. 51% for Khachanov and 50% for Cerundolo. So it's all been about Khachanov having a more effective serve, and also combined with the fact that he's able to be very effective on return against Cerundolo. So Cerundolo hasn't really got anywhere to go unless he plays great, his absolute best. But I mean, I think in the last 2 matches, the one in Cincinnati, certainly, he's just thought, oh, God, Khachanov again. I can't be doing with this. He's got broken and he's thought, I'm done here. But now, I'm not sure that's going to happen here, because the fact that Khachanov been in such poor form recently. If we look at the last 6 matches of each of these two players, the last 6 that they've played, Cerundolo's service points won and return points won total is 102. He's beaten Jack Draper, he's beaten Casper Ruud in the last couple of weeks. So, and he's got a 102 total. Khachanov's down at 100 because he has certainly struggled in recent times. From the Cerundolo point of view, he should be looking at Khachanov's form and thinking, right, this is my chance now. I'm not losing to this guy 7 times in a row. Whether he translates that to the match court or not is questionable, because he's not the toughest mentally for me, Cerundolo. A tougher player mentally would have won that match in Miami, would have won that match probably in Monte Carlo. But when things start to get away from him, he does tend to down tool sometimes. So the other question is Khachanov playing well enough to beat him again? So I feel like this is over 2. It's got over 2.5 sets written all over it. This, I think this is going to be a real scrap. I can't see Cerundolo lying down here, given the fact that he's in good form. And Khachanov isn't in the best of form. So over 2.5 sets for me here, plus 128 with Bet Rivers. Hopefully Khachanov wins it, obviously.
That is an official play as well?
No, it's just a lean, that one.
Lean. So just the lean there. The leans have been on fire. If you've been betting the leans, you'd be watching this in Barbados or sailing around the Caribbean. If you've been betting the leans have been on fire. So our lean is over 2.5 sets. Khachanov against Cerundolo. Our official play on the tournament here is Boo over in Beijing to win at plus 170 against Lorenzo Musetti. And Sean's official pick in Japan was, Sean?
It was Humbert to beat Jack Draper. I think he was plus 148, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, remember 10 o'clock Tokyo starts this evening, Eastern time. 11 o'clock over in Beijing. And in Beijing, you've also got action today. You've got Andrei Rublev, our tournament pick, as well as in action against Davidovich Fokina, who was also a lean for sure.
Yeah,
he got the job done as well. And Alcaraz, the tournament number 2 seed, he's up against Talon Griekspoor as well. So there is a full card of tennis available on the Bet Rivers app. After the last show, yesterday was Thursday. After Thursday's show, the game bet match total now has gone from 14 units behind to 10.50 units behind, and hopefully we can go deep with our future market to give us some pretty much positive, some better in better shape heading into Shanghai, which starts in a couple of weeks' time now. I just get these days so confused. I don't know what day of the week I am with this terrible start. I just really don't like it because I get all confused when we're going to come on. I get confused when the tournament starts. At least I can say, on Monday when the tournament starts. Now I've got to think about when the draw's going to start. It just does my head in this type of stuff. But anyway.
I think Shanghai starts on the 2nd of October.
Which is Tuesday,
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay. So we'll be back next week to preview that tournament. It's a 1,000 event. It's a big tournament as well. The big guns will be in action. It'll be a good tournament here, and we'll have it covered for you on Betting Weekly Studios. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Huge amount of people subscribing. This will be our record ever month, and that's on the back of last month, which is our record ever month of subscribers. Thank you very much. We're building something really special here, and we need your help on that. Give us a comment. Give us a like on this show. Download the podcast on, if you're listening on podcast form, make sure you can download the podcast, Betting Weekly Game Bet Match on your preferred podcast provider. Obviously, follow us on our socials at Because We Win on Twitter and Instagram. That's about it. 4 o'clock local time in England and 11 o'clock Eastern time every day. We run Betting Weekly live as well. One of the handicappers will be on there looking at the day's action, and Bet Rivers will be reporting all the big wagers every day live on the YouTube channel. And those boys have been on fire as well. So winners galore, winners on the tennis show last week. Hopefully we can keep that momentum going over the weekend, and we can cash some tickets heading into the big one in next Tuesday on Shanghai, which is going to be a big tournament. It's an ATP Tour 1000. It starts on Wednesday. Got the day right finally. Sean, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon. I'm heading off to watch League 2 football. I'm going to watch the mighty Bromley host MK Dons, where I'm telling you now, MK Dons win easily. Have a good day. I'll speak to you later on. Good luck with your bets and gamble responsibly. Take care.